TV ratings, baby. You go with the offseason champions, the one and only Dallas Cowboys. And Dak in 9-4. 9-4. By the way, Sills, what about the playoffs? I'm talking, I only know of one game right now. September 4th, baby. Primetime game. Man. Whew. See, this is the show that you guys can have some fun and we can do some projecting. My poor boy, Zander. No what ifs. No, we don't do that here. He's no birthday boy. Hope it's all good for him. Hope you had a great weekend, man. We bring in the one and only Big Z, Zander Krause. Now, how you doing, brother?
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
How was the weekend for you, man?
Good, man. Great. Hope everybody had a great Mother's Day, one of the great days of the year to honor the beautiful women in all of our lives. So happy Mother's Day to everybody. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Sills, hope you had a great weekend. I know you were killing it on the radio down in Tampa. So good job, brother.
Thank you, man. Yeah, no, we had our first radio show in 13 years in Tampa. A lot of people, the program director, everybody was thrilled to death. And I kept saying this. I go, hey, man, that's one of the games of the year I want to see. I want to see Bucks and Eagles. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's going to be down in Tampa again. So I think that's going to be a game you're going to have to circle.
It is supposed to be down there, Tampa.
Okay. What do you make, man? Cowboys in Eagles September 4th, dropping the banner Thursday night, Lincoln Financial. What do you make of it?
I absolutely love it. All right. I absolutely love it. Whether Eagles fans want to admit it or not, Cowboys games mean more to us. We care about them more. The world cares about them more. We might hate the Cowboys, but they are a superpower when it comes to the world audience, the global audience checking in on football. So Eagles, Cowboys, Super Bowl champs versus the prima donna Cowboys. It doesn't get better than that. It really brings even more attention that was already going to be on that opening week. I think it's even heightened more, and I'm super pumped about playing the Cowboys week 1. And I wouldn't rule them out just yet. I think they're going to be a solid squad. And the thing about getting them early is they haven't been knocked off their perch yet, right? So they're coming in confident. And the other thing is I said to my viewers this morning on Zander Time, think about it from both sides. You're an Eagle fan. We think, Dak's a choke artist. We're the Super Bowl champs, all of these things. And I get that. But Cowboys coming in with nothing to lose, really.
No.
Right? You're going into Philly's territory. You can knock off them in their week 1 game. All right. And all the things are kind of going for Dallas, where I view it kind of as a win-win for them. So they have nothing to lose. And I think that's what makes great football games. So I'm super excited about the game for sure.
Yeah, I just got my feedback back from MIT. Per True Media here, with the highest EPA drop back for quarterbacks since 2000, with a 5.678 percentage in completions over the time of Dak and Jalen Hurts. If you move the point over and you take the slide ruler, Hurts is a better passer. And I'm like, hey, for me, again, I'm not like an MIT guy, obviously, here. But, I mean, hey, if you want to take a number, how about 9-4 versus the Eagles? Nobody's talking about postseason. What I'm talking about now is, why do you think he has great success versus the Philadelphia Eagles?
Because he's a good quarterback. He's a choke artist when the lights are bright. But overall, he's been a good quarterback. Now there's been a lot of times, I think only him and Jalen have only faced off 3 times in Jalen's 4.5 year career. So it hasn't really worked out in terms of those two creating a fun rivalry. It's kind of been a big nothing burger between the two so far. Only 3 games between them. But look, Dak's a good quarterback. He's not a good playoff quarterback. And, that has to be factored into every discussion. I'm not going to sit here and lie to people and tell you Dak's not a good quarterback. He's a great quarterback. He throws the ball as good as anybody in the league. So he's a good player. Sometimes they have good players around him. I think they do have good players around him coming into this year. My big question on them, though, is what's that offensive line like, dude? You know, I mean, do they have any proven asset on that offensive line? Tyler Guyton was legitimately one of the worst offensive
Yes.
linemen in the league last year.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, Tyler Booker, I like him out of Alabama, but he's an unknown. He's a rookie coming in. I think they have another Tyler on the line, if I'm not mistaken, but Zach Martin's gone. I mean, you know, the big days of the Cowboys offensive line are long gone. So what does that offensive line look like? And that could be a chance for the Eagles.
What do you think, or who do you think is more of a problem to play against, Jaden Daniels or Dak?
I think Jaden presents more problems in the modern game because of his escapability. Now, the one thing with Dak is he can sit in the pocket and dissect you and pick you apart. But you know, I think in the modern game, there's a reason that you see the resurgence of dual threat quarterbacks coming on. I mean, you also just had you talked about how dual threats don't win. Well, they did win now. Jalen's a Super Bowl champion. Lamar, Josh Allen, everybody that's coming into the league, even look at the guys who were just drafted this year in the first round. All of them have dual threat ability. So I think it's Jaden from that perspective, but that's not to take away from what Dak can do.
What about Dak matching up against a different secondary than you had a year ago?
Well, did we even play Dak last year?
Well, last year's number 2 ranked defense. No. What I'm saying is last year, your defense was the second best pass defense, maybe the first.
Yeah.
I forget. In all of football. I mean, well, you've lost half of it.
Yeah, no, I know. And remember, it took us a little bit to get going last year. Yeah. It took us till week 5 to get to discover that number 1 overall defense. So that's the one thing I will say objectively is an advantage for the Cowboys. Like I saw my boy Twiz, and sometimes Twiz is just a big brain fart. Twiz, he says nothing to lose. Well, Twiz, you tell me, what do they have to lose versus what we have to lose? We're the Super Bowl champs. If they come in and beat us, yeah, it's their Super Bowl, and we can make fun of them in the playoffs. But they have nothing to lose. If we win, we say exactly as expected. We're the Super Bowl champs. Go back to your cave. They have nothing to lose. They're coming to Philly. It doesn't really matter if they lose. It's not going to define their season. They're not expected to win. They opened up as 7-point dogs in the game. They got nothing to lose. So coming in from that perspective, I think you can't take them lightly or anything, but I think we're in a good spot. Good spot. And I love the game, by the way, just because I think it's going to bring in a lot of viewers.
How much pressure going into this game do you think's on Kevin Patullo?
Not too much.
Well, wait. So what are your expectations on how the offense is going to look versus the Dallas Cowboy team? I mean, if they're going to run it, probably not. But everyone's been telling me they're going to need more from the offense this year. Yeah. And that side of the ball, do you expect any nuanced changes in week 1? Or do you think they're just going to go into this game? What I would do, and I would ask Dallas, well, hey, look, you guys may have done some nice things in the offseason here, according to you guys, but let's just find out if you guys have done anything. Let's take the first 11, 13 plays and let's run the football right down their throat. If they can't run it, I mean, end of the day, why would I change my philosophy?
Yeah, and I don't think you'll see much change. I mean, Sills, here's the reality. We've had how many new coordinators with Jalen Hurts? I mean, what is it, 4 now? Yeah, so you're going on your 4th in his 5th year starting. And the reality is, which everybody should be happy with, by the way, is it's not one of the coordinator's offenses. It's Jalen Hurts' offense. So it's not going to be grandiose and big difference. It's not. It's going to look pretty similar to how it looked last year with maybe 5 to 10% difference in what they do, especially week 1. By the way, who's stopping the Eagles' run game in that defensive line?
That's like, what I said. People misinterpreted what I said here. I go, dude, the Dallas Cowboys have stars all over that team. I mean, Micah Parsons is a bigger star in many people's eyes than even Jalen Hurts. But that don't make him a better ball player. I mean, the Eagles by far had the better ball players. I mean, but again, because you play for the Cowboys, your brand is accentuated more. It just is. But that doesn't mean anything at the end of the day with winning and losing.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But I mean, look, I don't think Patullo is going to come in and change the apple cart too much. Like I'm kind of with Bob says, he should be flogged if he brings new stuff. And he doesn't need to, Bob. You're right. We were one of the best offenses of football last year when it came to running the ball. So, but I like the I'm actually one of the people that I like this Cowboys roster a little bit more than most. But I will say this: Their defense is built to stop the pass. Okay. They got great secondary players. They got Trayvon Diggs, Deron Bland. They got the safeties. They got, Overshown. Micah Parsons is obviously an exceptional pass rusher. Who stops the run?
Right.
Who stops the run? Nobody is built on that team to stop the run. So I think the offense is going to look exactly like it did last year. And I don't know if the Cowboys are going to be able to stop it.
Okay. Cowboys versus the Eagle defense. That's going to be the game here. I mean, look, Javonte Williams. I mean, come on, dude. I mean, they're looking at free agent running backs right now. He wasn't awful, almost 4 yards a carry, but 500 yards. I mean, they need more out of that position if they're going to go anywhere. I don't know what Chubb is going to do. I don't even know if he's healthy to do anything. Sanders is going to give you nothing. So in my opinion, right there, here's how you beat the Dallas Cowboys come September 4th. You keep them in 3rd and long. Because if they can't get that run game, Dak's not a RPO guy. So it is going to be all about controlling the run.
Yeah, but at least they have the targets now. They used to not even have anybody next to CD. At least they have a deep threat now. And by the way, what's the biggest weakness on the Eagles team coming into the year?
Secondary.
Right. It's Keely Ringo and it's Sidney Brown or Andrew Makuba, whatever they are. We don't know what any of those guys are going to be. Now, hey, maybe they're great, but we don't know that, especially coming into week 1.
I think also it's going to have ramifications for the 4 across. I don't think you can just have and someone go, well, the right side of the secondary. One thing you had last year is that you had great communication. You had really a great young star and a veteran leader at the corner. And guess what else you had? You had another veteran leader, albeit a big mouthed Gardner Johnson in the middle with Reed. Right. Look at the experience you had with Reed and CJ sitting at the safety position. You have none of that right now, where again, how much more communication and how much more of a leadership role is Reed going to have to play? He's going to have to be even louder out there. And because now, I mean, Slay could tell a kid, hey, CJ, maybe you need to play a little bit deeper because this kid likes to do an in and out fake. And you're missing that kind of in-game conversations when you don't have the veteran guy. I'm telling you, man, don't be shocked if that Justin Simmons kid doesn't end up on your football team in some aspect. I would not be shocked if they're not looking at that in some aspect going, do we need the veteran leadership back there?
Well, if you get him, I mean, I think even if you're somebody that doesn't want him, it does change a little bit of the perspective coming into the season when you bring in a guy like that who's got that many snaps. I mean, that's veteran. He's been around a long time, so I think it would help. But bottom line is, Sills, this is a great football game to open the season with, dude, on Thursday. It's a great game. I do think there's a chance that the Eagles could blow them out if the Cowboys, don't have the right pieces, and they are flawed when it comes to the line. So I think there's a good chance the Eagles could blow them out, but I think it's going to be a great game. And I think the build up to the game will maybe be even better than the actual game. I mean, look, I said the Cowboys are decent in a couple areas, and I got a bunch of cisspot crybabies.
Hey,
what do you want, man? What do you want? Me to lie to you? You want me to glaze you and make you feel better? Yeah, wuss. Come on, everybody.
Let me give you my impression of what I think this game's going to be when it comes to the buildup. You ever really see a great movie poster and it's just great? I mean, it's got you, the promos, they run on TV. You go to the movie and you're like this, holy shit, that thing sucked.
Yeah.
I mean, I sat here for 3.5 hours.
Because every movie I watch, I get that feeling. I'm like, that was a waste of my 2 hours. But that's why I don't watch movies.
You watch the build-up, you're watching all that, and you're like, holy shit, this thing stunk. I mean, yeah. I'll tell you one thing Dallas has done differently. They've also done a schematic change on their offense. They're running a fullback now.
Who, the Eagles?
No.
Cowboys are too?
Yep. Cowboys implemented
their running game is putrid, so it wouldn't surprise me if they switch it up because they got, leftover Miles Sanders, who wasn't even good when he was the main course. They got Javonte Williams. Man.
He had 1,300 yards for you, and you called him a stiff.
He's a stiff. Is he not a stiff? Wait, Sills, you want me to replay?
He had the 4th best rushing effort in Eagle history, and he's a stiff.
Ready? You know what wait. You know what we trashed Dak about, right? The lights are bright. The Eagles have made it to the big stage. Play number 1. Hand it off to Miles Sanders. Ooh. Sorry, Sills. I can't buy that, brother. I can't buy that.
Fourth best rushing attempt season in Eagle history. He was a stiff. Come on.
And was that because of Miles Sanders, or was that because of the offensive line?
O-line. The reason why what's his name got $2,000. O-line.
Barkley was clearly that much better and didn't fumble the ball in the big game.
Better player. Okay. You turned average dudes into Pro Bowlers.
Are you trying to tell me that them having Miles Sanders is a big addition to their offense? Okay.
Absolutely not. I'm saying
you're fighting with semantics.
I'm saying having a fullback matters more than having Miles Sanders on that team, because that means they're going to something different here. They're trying to.
They're using as fullback.
What's that?
Who are they using as their fullback?
What did I hear there? They're putting down Hunter Lupke. They're using here. Let me take a look at this O-line here.
That should tip the odds.
What's this? Tyler Guyton. Okay, Tyler Smith. The kid Cooper Beebe had a horrible year. Tyler Booker got the rookie starting right away. And Terrence Steele's a good player. Terrence Steele's their best O-lineman. But, dude, I look at that O-line, and you know what I say? Rank it in the NFL. $17th?
That O-line, that's generous.
Okay. 17th? Dak's going to make it better because he's going to get the ball out of his hands quicker. Okay.
Oh, man. I like that. I'm not a Dak hater at all. I mean, he stinks in the playoffs when the lights are bright. So he's like a Miles Sanders.
Dak's going to throw for 458 yards in this game against Philly on September 4th, but they're going to get beat 38-17 because it's going to be garbage. Oh, yeah. Why? He always does.
No, he always does. He's never done that maybe
Bro,
ever.
This guy averages 270 yards for a career in his 13 games versus the Eagles.
That's not 450.
No, you're right. He's only
thrown. What's the most Dak has ever thrown? Wait a second. What is the most Dak has ever thrown yardage-wise versus the Eagles in his
455.
Career? There you go. 2018. You're not living on 2018, no, are you, Sileo?
No, I'm living off of this in the last 4 starts against them. 5 starts. He's 4-1. He's 21 of 26, 238 and 3, 21 of 27, 295, 27 of 35, 347, 29 of 44, 374. I'm not sure what we're looking at here.
Yeah, no, listen, he's good. We've talked about this.
I got it. I'm with you.
I mean, the guy can play. I'm not a Dak hater at all. I think Dak can play, but that doesn't mean I think they're going to be better than the Eagles are this year. I think the Eagles are just a more ready team. I think they're a better team. They're returning 10 of 11 offensive starters. I know you have the defensive question marks, but, I mean, put them up with the question marks on Dallas' side. By the way, Dak Prescott, for all the love that we've been giving him on this show, he still has question marks too. He had one of his worst seasons in the first 7 weeks last year, and he's coming off a big injury. Right? He's 32 years old. How good is he going to be, you know?
Absolutely. Hey, by the way, like I said, I think he's going to throw for a shitload of yards, but I think the Eagles are going to win 38-17.
38-17? Are you already predicting that?
Where are they better?
I don't see anywhere that the Cowboys are better.
Again, this is a hype game.
I don't see one spot. Maybe edge rushers because of Micah.
Maybe. Okay. And
but Micah can get to the quarterback. He's proven that.
Over Lane? Never happened.
Well, I'm talking about in general. I wasn't talking about.
Yeah, in general, sure. When he's playing the Giants, right? Hey, here's my games.
Wait a second. Do you think Nolan Smith would get to the quarterback on Lane?
No.
Not in a million years.
Right.
Nobody gets to the quarterback on Lane. It's not a good comp.
The Eagles.
Kicker. There you go, Rob. They're better at kicker.
Hey, the Eagles have the kryptonite for the Cowboys when it comes to edge rushers. Both tackles.
Wait, so you're predicting – wait a second.
It's not close.
there's no bigger Jalen basher in the city of Philadelphia than Dan Sileo.
Basher, I'm a realist.
Okay, that's fine. You can call. I don't have a problem with the way you do content. I know you know that.
I heard John McMullen go, I can't put Hurts in the top 5. I'm like, I don't know. I say something different. And everyone gets on me as a hater. I don't know. Go ahead, please continue.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, you hate on Jalen all the time, and I don't remember what I was going to say. I lost my train of thought on it.
Okay,
But
well, at the end of the day here, the game will be Barkley and Dak. Then if Hurts happens to bring the mail, we're ready to rock here. But here are the games. Here are the games I thought should have been for September. The Detroit game should have been the game that we all wanted to see last year. And I wanted to see that game. That should be the opener. The Cowboy game's a TV game, dude. That's all it is. You know, the Cowboys last year, 13 games. Of the top 50 television programs, the Cowboys had the top 13 TV shows of any program in the country.
what does that prove about playing the game of football?
0. But you know what pays?
It proves my initial point that there's going to be a lot of people watching this thing.
But you know what pays the owners? Television ratings.
Yeah, I know why everybody glazes the Cowboys. I mean, it's not lost on me. At the end of the day, I'm in media. I mean, I get it. You know,
we're gonna blow them out.
You think we're going to blow them out? You think 38-17? Wait a second. All right, I remember what I was going to say. You're the biggest Jalen basher, and you got this team in week 1 scoring 38 points
against that shitty defense. Yeah,
38 points is a hefty number.
What do you think has a better defense, Kansas City or
definitely Kansas City,
the Cowboys? And you pretty much got the same group.
Kansas City's defense had holes as we exploited.
You're running it back except for Becton, right? Everyone except Becton.
From an offensive perspective, you're correct. Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't see the Eagles scoring 38 points in week 1. I think it's going to be, 28, 26? 30, somewhere in that range. I can see that.
Like that, 26, 14.
Yeah, 30. I think 30 would be fine too. I mean, I think Anthony Wilson, my boy, this morning said 30 to 20. I think that's a good score. But I don't think that Dak's going to score nothing. And I don't think the Eagles are scoring 40.
Shit, the Chiefs would have been a great game. The Rams would have been a great game.
I think the Lions would have been the best one.
Me too.
Yeah.
I got the Lions. That's the game
I wanted. We were deprived of Eagles-Lions last year, and they should have given us it.
I'll tell you what, if you wanted to even go Washington and the Eagles in week 1, a recap of the NFC title game, and you've got Jaden Daniels playing against Jalen Hurts, both guys healthy. But they wanted
Jaden Daniels is going to have a regression year.
I know you keep saying that.
I'm so sick of hearing everybody between you and John and everybody acting like this guy is 8 years of great play. He's played 1 good year of football. And by the way, you know what? Wait a second. You want to know the moment that I started saying this about Jaden? The moment that I said this fucking dude is going to have, and I really was trying to stop cursing. Dang it. But the moment that this guy, I said he was going to have a bad sophomore year. He's dancing like a cupcake in our end zone in the playoffs, down 3 touchdowns. Who the hell taught you to dance in the end zone down 3 touchdowns? I'm sorry, but that moment, I watched that, and I changed my thoughts on him maybe forever. He might never recover again, James Jones. Quarterback's dancing in the end zone.
Remember what I said last year, James, after we had Herm Edwards on? I said that kid's going to win the Rookie of the Year award, and that kid's going to win the East. He didn't win everyone thought I was nuts that Washington would even be in the conversation of being a good team. They ended up winning north of 12 ball games and got to the NFC title for the first time in 25 years. That kid is special.
Look at that.
Yeah, hey.
If Hurts danced down 30, I'd want him deported. Exactly, Daz. I would keep that. If Jalen Hurts was dancing in the opponent's end zone in the playoffs, down by 3 tutties, I'd say, get that stiff off my football team.
Instead, he was dancing over at the Met Gala.
No, he wasn't. He was dancing with a Super Bowl trophy and an MVP in his hands.
And he was dancing in the Met Gala over there.
At least he had the trophy in his hands.
With all the crazy people over there, guys dressed like chicks and all that.
Again, at least he had the trophy.
Oh, I know. You look good, though, in the dress. It looked good on him. Yeah. Yeah, it looked good. All right. I got a couple more questions here for you, Junior. Nakobe Dean. He's not ready for the start of the season. Jahad Campbell, not ready for the start of the season. Means what to the start of the season for the Eagles?
Who's the first person you said before Jahad?
Nakobe. John doesn't think
Nakobe might, but we'll see. We'll see. It means nothing. What do you mean? We didn't have Campbell.
Wait a minute. I'm taking the number one reporter for the Philadelphia Eagles, and I'm taking his word. And I heard him say he doesn't believe he's going to be ready for the start of the season. I'm just going by the number one reporter for Eagle football right here on JAKIB Sports each and every single day with yours truly, Zander Krause. They're on Birds 365. All I'm doing is taking reports here. So I'm going to kind of go with the reporter, and he's not ready. What about him not being ready for the start of the season? How you feeling about that?
We got Trotter Jr., dude. We're in good shape.
Trotter Jr.
Yeah, we're in good shape. I'm not worried about that at all.
Trotter Jr., you think takes the role of Oren Burks?
Yeah. Yeah, I got nowhere. I got zero. If you're gonna rank my worries coming into the game, the second linebacker for the Cowboys.
I think the linebacker play was one of the most significant things that helped that number one defense a year ago.
I agree with that. But you got one game here. I mean, they wait a second.
So
did we survive after Nakobe Dean went down last year?
Because you had Oren Burks. Okay. So
was it because of Oren? Wait a second. Let me finish. Was it because of Oren Burks, who was a total, complete, and utter trash can in the Super Bowl the year before, where Patrick Mahomes looked at him and picked him apart? Or was it the defense that Vic Fangio put him in that allowed him to succeed and be successful?
I think the experience of getting killed in that Kansas City game helped that player in that Super Bowl game to get his vengeance versus Kansas City. And I think all the things that they did in that Super Bowl against him the year previous, he took it out on the next Super Bowl, and it was a night and day game for him.
I agree with that. I was genuinely asking the question, though, because the player did struggle mightily the year before. Now, I'm not taking a credit away. I do think the player played very well, but Vic Fangio created a defense last year that Nolan Smith thrived, Cooper DeJean thrived, Quinyon Mitchell thrived, both the safeties thrived, all of our cornerbacks thrived, Isaiah Rodgers thrived, Oren Burks thrived off the bench, Jalen Hunter, everybody thrived. Okay, why? Is that because we hit on every player, or Vic put them in the right position? Again, I understand what you're saying. There's a lot of moving parts, but I'm not going to sit here and worry too much about that, because I do think Vic is going to be able to get the most out of each individual player and put them in a position to succeed. Let me ask you this. Would you think Cooper DeJean would have been as successful somewhere else last year in a different type of defense? He might be good enough.
Rams, Minnesota, Baltimore, but to places like that, I think he would have. But that, again, probably 5% to 10% of the teams in the league, he would have had the same type of year. I'll tell you this. If he's on any of those other teams, he's probably the defensive rookie of the year.
Well, I think what hurt him in that regard was honestly this.
The missing of the 4 games. That's right.
I think that hurt him because, I mean, it's funny, though. The Rams and the Eagles, they're the top 4 rookie defensive player of the years. It was Rams, Eagles. I mean, both of them drafted. Both teams are top of the pack when it comes to GM.
Do you think if he plays all 4 of those opening games, do you think that he wins the rookie of the year? I do.
Well, it depends, because I do think there's some BS in those awards where you have to show up statistically. So Cooper, as good as he was, it wasn't a stat position until the Super Bowl when he got to pick 6. So I don't know if he would have won Rookie of the Year versus Verse, who had, I don't know, how many sacks did Jared Verse have last year? I don't know if you overcome that with voters. I mean, you know how it is. Sometimes those awards are, they're stat driven. So I'm not worried about that. But to the point, though, of what I'm saying, I hear you bringing up the concern, but I just feel like Vic is going to put these guys in the right position, man. You got Bond coming back. You still got Carter and Davis up front. You're going to have Nolan on the edge. You're going to have Reed Blankenship behind you. You're going to have Quinion and Coop still. I feel like if that linebacker can't come in and be viable, then move on to the next dude because he ain't good enough.
So, and let me read this right here. For you, you believe that Vic is going to put the players that are on this roster, because in your eyes, you see almost the same roster in the preseason of 24 and in the offseason of 24 as you do right now in 25. And your faith is in the fact that you think Vic is going to put all the new guys, just like he did a year ago, in the position to have the same type of success, maybe 5% more, maybe 5 to 10% less.
Yeah,
just depends, okay? You think he's going to get most and maximize out of the current roster right now as he did a year ago. Is that right? No, I'm just trying to get it right here. I'm just trying to figure what you're saying.
I would say in very big Sills fashion, you just sensationalized it beautifully. You sensationalized it perfectly. But no, I do feel, I mean, the other thing is, Sills, is I think Vic has had a big part in personnel, more so than any assistant coach I can remember. So, you know, I'm trusting that he picked out some of these players that he has coming in, and I think they're all going to be fine, honestly. In fact, Dak might go triple interception week 1.
Oh, I think Dak's probably going to go 5 touchdowns and 475 yards. Why? He's thrown for 400 before on your ass.
Let's look up at what Dak Prescott did last year before the injury. Let's check it out. Let's just go. All right, what's Dak's
Let's just check it out what Dak has done versus Dallas or Eagles.
64% completions, 11 touchdowns, and 8 picks.
That ain't the Eagles. Here, this is what Dak has done versus the Eagles in his 13 games that he's played. 24-39, 270, 29-44, 374, 27-35, 347, 21-27, 295, 21-26, 238, 25-44, 265, 21-27.
Wait. I got a better stat line. Take your stats.
Here's another one. 42 of 54, 77.8 completion percentage.
Wait a second. Take your stats and shove it. Ready? Dak Prescott last year versus the Detroit Lions. They lost 47-9. He was 17 of 33 for $178, 0 touchdowns and 2 picks. This guy stinks when you have a good defense.
Here's what Dak. Here's 42 of 54, 77.8 versus the Eagles. 455 passing yards and 5 touchdowns. Holy,
that was in 2018, Sileo.
How about another? Well, here, I can go all the way down here.
That was 7 years ago.
Okay,
Listen to yourself.
I'll go to 23 here. Okay, 29 of 44, 374. I mean, come on, man. Hey, what about the tush push? How much do you think the tush push, if it is outlawed, and I think it will be outlawed at the end of the month here, how much you think it has an impact on the Eagles football team moving forward?
Probably not much. I mean, I think more than John now. John's like, oh, they're going to be a 100% perfect. They'll be better without the tush push. I'm like, really? Then why were they running the tush push?
Don't you think that's an identity play?
Yeah, I think it's an identity play. I think it's a a play that allows your offense to play differently because you know you're starting 1st and 9 on every possession. So if you don't have that type of confidence in the quarterback sneak, which by the way, I do think they're going to be good at it, but it's a different type of play. You're not going to go for it on every 4th and 1 if you don't have the tush push, in my opinion. You might go for the right ones. You might go in the right circumstances or the right instances or when the game calls for it. But I think it changes up a little bit. Like John's like, oh, they're going to be better. I'm like, well, why were they running a tush push then? So I don't really agree with that, but I don't think it's a huge thing. I don't think it's going to be huge.
I think that's why they're going fullback. It's because they know this thing's getting outlawed.
Shady brings up a good point here. You know who might be praying for the tush push to get outlawed? Freaking Saquon.
You know what, though?
How many touchdowns last year did Jalen get that could have been Saquon?
Yeah, but wait a minute here. I mean, if I'm the running back, I had the ball 400 times in my hand. Do I want to get in traffic in there and I want to take a shot at getting banged up? Let the
Yeah.
quarterback go in there and do that. I mean, if
Mhm.
now that I have to take more of an injury risk at getting my butt in there. By the way, I don't want either guy injured.
Wait. You were talking about him trying to get to Canton, though. Imagine if he had an extra 10 tutties last year.
Oh, Jesus criminy. That would have been like insane.
That would have been one of the greatest running back seasons, and already was, but it would have solidified itself as. So
would he have been over 20? If he had 10 more touchdowns, would he have been over 20 touchdowns?
I know he had more than 10 last year. Let's check.
Wow, man, if you had a 22
13 touchdowns, yeah, so we probably let's give him another 7. He would have got to 20.
So if he had 20 touchdowns and 2005 rushing yards, and then the yards he put up in the postseason, boy, I'll tell you, man. Then you follow it up and then you follow it up this year with a 1,700-yard rushing season and say 15 touchdowns. You know, that's $4,000 almost, Zander, in 2 years of running the ball. I mean, you're gonna make some noise, in my opinion. Okay, I mean, you are here. All right, one last one here for you before we do the supers. By the way, we will read your supers. Please hit the like button here.
We got some good supers, I think, today. I saw them coming in. Appreciate everybody. Hope everybody had a great weekend.
Okay. Where's your boy? When are you going to address the Sirianni problem?
I don't know. Who cares? Fuck's that have to do with me?
What are the Eagles going to address their Sirianni problem?
I don't know. Pay the guy. His contract's up, and he took you to 2 Super Bowls in 4 years. I don't really give a shit what anybody thinks of him. Pay him.
Pay him what? Again, I want to just
$20 million.
20.
What's the difference? Let me ask you something. What's the difference if Jeffrey Lurie shows at 17 or 20? What's the difference?
If I were a coach in this league and I saw Nick Sirianni make $20 million, I would be, thank you so much, God, because you really don't have to be very good at your job to get $20 million. Okay.
Okay, so you're delegitimizing Super Bowls everywhere, though.
No, what I'm saying, no,
yes,
I'm de-emphasizing him.
Nick Sirianni went to 2 Super Bowls in 4 years. If you're saying that's
I saw George Seifert do that. So what?
So, that's what I'm saying. So you're delegit. You think he's closer to Seifert than he is to
I do.
a good coach?
Yes,
I don't think that. And I think
I do.
And by the way,
your opinion is this: can you live without him and still be successful in Philly?
I think you could still be successful. Yeah, that's a different question, though. That's
think Kansas City will be successful without Andy, even with Mahomes?
No, I don't.
Okay,
I don't. But
there's certain coaches. Look, I'm not saying he's dog shit, but I'm saying this. But to me, a coach should do this. You think Denver can live without Sean Payton? I do.
I don't know. I don't know if Bo Nix could.
Yeah. Do you think the Rams are going to – how were the Rams before Sean McVay showed up?
Yeah, the Rams need McVay. I hear what you're saying. It's the same argument you'll make with Jalen like you did last week. You know, how many games would the Eagles win without Jalen? How many games would the Bills win without the freaking without? I get it. I get what you're saying, but you can't deny men lie, women lie, numbers don't. The guy is a winner.
When I look
he's a goofy, but he's a winner. And I don't really care what my opinion is of him because it doesn't matter.
So what here? So when Bill Belichick calls it a career, it may be sooner than later because of what now I want to hear something. I don't believe he's ever going to coach a game at North Carolina.
You might be right about that. Yeah, but here's a problem.
What's he known for? Defense.
Bill Belichick?
Defense.
Yeah, defense and Super Bowl.
Well, do you think there's any coincidence he coached Tom Brady and Lawrence Taylor? I mean, I don't know.
Well, can you use that? Like, that's the problem with the Nick conversation. I'm not saying you're wrong. He probably wouldn't be successful without this team, but would Bill Belichick have won a ring without Brady? I've seen no evidence.
Well, I've seen no evidence Bill Parcells would have won a Super Bowl without Belichick.
So my point, though, is that why are you taking it away from Nick if you're not going to take it away from Belichick or Parcells?
Um, would Bill have won a Super Bowl
without Brady? The dude was a stiff whenever Brady wasn't on his team.
Okay, well here then. Would Walsh have won a Super Bowl without Montana? No. Would name me
But
one
you
of the
don't
greats.
criticize Walsh for that. Or you don't
Because
hold
Walsh
that
was a
against
play
Walsh.
caller. Because Walsh was a play caller.
So the only thing you care about is play calling?
No, the fact that he drafted, ran the organization, he drafted the
Well,
players.
there's no doubt that Nick's in a different era and a different team with a different setup, for sure. I agree with that. I mean, he is. Those coaches did more.
How much influence do you think he has on the team? Influence like who to hire, who not to hire, who to draft, who to cut.
Very little. Very little. I think he has a lot of influence on the players and the team and the camaraderie of the team and the way they play. I don't think he has any influence on the front office, and that's why they like him. I think Vic Fangio's had more influence on Howie when it comes to drafting than Nick has had. Vic's been here for 1 year.
Let's ask this question. Is that important any longer in today's NFL?
It might not be. I mean,
you have to have, like, let me be fair.
Well,
here.
I don't know, because who's the last NFC champion outside of the Eagles? Was it the Rams?
NFC.
Play calling head coach. Andy's the play calling head coach. Who else has won Super Bowls recently?
Yeah, but how much influence do you really think that Sean McVay has on hiring or drafting Jared Verse at MSU?
He doesn't have any impact on that. He also has a great GM. I mean, I put Howie and Les Snead.
Kevin Demoff are great.
Yeah, Les Snead's incredible. So it's a tough comp, though, because McVay does have more say on that offense. He invented that offense.
Correct. And before there, when you had some stiff coaches in the building in there, here, let's do this with the Bucs, since I was talking some Bucs football. You know, the last two offensive coordinators had only been in the building 1 year. They had never been play callers in their entire life. And that guy, Dave Canales, turned out to be the head coach of Carolina. And also now Liam Cohen is now the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. They had never been a play calling type guy in the history of their careers. So when Kevin Patullo takes this over here, I think there's a lot of stress on this guy, man, because if that team fumbles along and that defense can't get the 3 and outs and they're not in good field position, and that team is not the key to me for the Eagles' success this year, it's not the offense, dude. It's how that defense looks early. Yeah. Because last year, the defense was okay early, wasn't great.
They weren't good early.
Like the Green Bay game, we thought they gave yardage up.
They did. Right? The first 4 weeks weren't great with that defense, so I'm not jumping one way or the other after week 1. I mean, there's no way.
That's right. That's one thing we're going to have to be patient on. That's one thing I'll be patient on is the first 4 weeks of the season when the no-holes cheeseburger defense. We'll see what happens there.
Big Sills ain't going to be patient on shit. You already got us out the pasture.
No, I don't. You're going to destroy the Cowboys in the.
No, you're like Jaden Daniels dancing in the end zone down 20 right now.
No, I'm like everyone else saying Jaden Daniels is probably the best quarterback in the NFL right now.
In the NFL?
CBS said.
What kind of drugs are you on?
Hey, I didn't say that. CBS said
Josh
that.
Allen's the best quarterback in the NFL right now.
Yes.
In my opinion, that's who I would take. I would take Josh Allen ahead of anybody.
They had Jaden Daniels CBS. I had him like 5th or 6th. I don't know. I'm not putting them up there like that. Let's get to these supers, my friend.
Big silly. Fly Eagles checking in. What's up? I don't think our cornerback 2 is on the roster yet.
Are you thinking they're getting Ramsey? You could smoke some more hash, kid. That ain't working. Okay. They're not getting Jalen.
They're not getting Ramsey. He's not a fit, but maybe somebody. I don't think it's out of the equation. Jason A-Team checking in. What up, A-Team? He says Axeman 2 is the fallback option over Dean and whoever else. Jacob is king. Jahan Dotson starts the season elite and gets traded. Look at this. A-Team's predicting the whole season. This guy's on fire.
What are you trading him for? A bag of bananas? What are we doing here, man? Have you seen that baseball team, the Savannah Bananas or whatever it is? They had 75,000 fans. I thought it was a gimmick.
Holy crap, 75K?
75K.
Were
Watch
tickets
that.
free? Tickets must have been free.
Bro, the whole place was packed. There's sellouts everywhere. That's what John Morgan wants the Rays to do. He wants to turn the Rays into that. I was like, okay.
JD3 checking in. What's up, brother? Another day in the Big Dom dynasty, starting off beating the Cowboys 30-0 to remind them we've been relevant for 30 years and them 0.
Oh my God.
Don't
30
tell
to
Big
9.
Silly that.
I love Eagle fans. Eagle fans, you know what you are? You're as delusional as the Cowboy fans are, but you know the difference?
We're actually good.
You win.
Yeah. So that means we're not delusional.
You are delusional to think
No,
that.
we're not, because we win.
Josh Sweat's a bum. Milton Williams is a bum. CJ's a bum. Slay's
Nobody
a
said
bum.
that.
Yeah. Oh,
You said-
really?
I said we can survive without them.
I don't know. I'm going to be fine without him. You're the number one defense.
If
in
you
the
lined
NFL,
up every edge rusher,
hey, we'll be fine with
every edge.
We'll be fine with Caitlin Ringo. We'll be okay.
If you did a fantasy draft of edge rushers in the NFL, you wouldn't even take Josh Sweat in your top 30.
If I had to do now an Eagle, or wait a minute, if I had to do an NFL edge rushing, the Eagles wouldn't have a guy in the top 30. Think of that. You wouldn't have a guy in the top 30.
Josh Sweat wouldn't be taken either. But we got to get through these. We got Cobb in here. Big Marshall says, Cooper had Lamb crying last year. He couldn't see. I remember. That's going to be a good matchup, actually, because CeeDee Lamb lines up in the slot a lot. So you got Cooper DeJean presumably playing the slot. That should be good.
I agree with you, not John. I think that's going to be more of a matchup in there because there's more traffic in the middle, and Cooper's in the middle of that zone.
I mean, I don't know what John was saying. He's not going to. CeeDee Lamb's one of the best targets in football. The guy had 150 catches.
And he makes his living in the middle of the zone. He doesn't make it on the numbers.
Right where Cooper's going to be. Big Marsh again. Yo, Marsh, thank you for all the support today, brother. Coop had Lamb crying last year about he could see. I remember. It's the same thing. Got you, brother. Big Marshall, the funniest thing ever would be if Ringo gets a pick 6.
Ringo's not even starting right now.
We'll be holding Silio's feet to the fire if he does.
Caitlin Ringo, really? That's where we're going here over Darius Slay.
Elite Ringo. Yeah. Big Marshall says scrimmage game week 1 for the Eagles. I'm not going that far. Eagle Talk Baby says, my pops is a Bills fan. Him and I are going to the Bills-Eagles game in Buffalo. That's a bucket list for me. I'd like to go to a game in Buffalo.
Oh, God, is it unbelievable up
there? Buffalo and Lambeau and Arrowhead are the 3 stadiums I really want to go to.
And you know what? This is the last one at Old. Gary and I played in this one. This one is Old Ralph Wilson. They're getting a brand new one. And one of the things about, if you ever notice, and I bet Gary did too, the old AFC stadiums, like where Denver played, Zander, or like where Kansas City is, you are so close to the sidelines in those old AFC stadiums. Now, it's funny, they make it further away from the fans and the players. But those old AFC stadiums, bro, holy cow, you were right on top. Like, you were right on top of one another. Kansas City is one of the funnest places I've ever played a game.
I believe it. Marshall says, we don't want TV ratings. We want Super Bowl trophies. That's the difference. We play to win the game.
Yeah, but right. Here, Marshall, once again, this game wasn't picked for you, my friend, being a true hardcore Eagle. This was picked because the NFL owners are paid on TV money. They're not paid on your passion.
Well, the Eagles are still a part of that, but you're right. The Cowboys bring the ratings. There's no doubt. Prince Swayze says Tyler Booker, referred to by Cowgirls fans as the Jalen Carter stopper, had his worst games against them, allowing 3 sacks. Tyler Booker, I'm a Bama guy. I like him, but I'm not sure on him yet.
Come on, man. I mean,
12 overall, I'm not sure. One more.
Gary Cobb would say this: slide protection, be looking for it because they can't stop a sniffle.
I think we got all of them. This one was Rodgers was the starter in Indy in 21. I think he was bashing with you with your earlier take.
It's not true. He did not. He started 10 games and 45 games.
Pumper says the Sidney and Keeley slander is preposterous and uncomfortable, yet we tooting the horn of Jerry Jones. Meat checking dudes at the comp. I will agree with you on that, Pumper. Jerry's a weird guy. Siglord, our goal should be to make Pickens crash out week 1. He might crash out in training camp, Sig. We might not have to worry about that, brother. All right, so it's a great show, brother. I'll catch you tomorrow, my friend.
You got it. And don't forget, Angelo Cataldi will be with us at 5:30. Make sure you catch out our boy, Zander Krause. Dallas Cowboys. You see, delusional fan bases. Eagle fans are delusional in this. As soon as a guy, I love this part of it. As soon as a guy like Isaiah Rodgers or Josh Sweat or Milton Williams is no longer an Eagle, guy sucked. Easily replaced. Who are you kidding? That guy played here. You're welcome. Don't